What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you once again. We got the Strokes Gain Show. I'm here with my two main guys. We got Locks, we got Snyder. Locks, let's bring you in first. How we doing today, man?
Yeah, doing well, guys. Last week turned a little bit of a profit. That's always good news. Just missed on a couple other pieces, but Van Ruyen failed us on Sunday. I think you played him too, AP. But overall, it was a decent week. I'm happy with it. But now we're getting into some big-time events. Just excited to be another week with you guys here. And, yeah, we're going to dive into the next few weeks here. It's going to get fun. We got a lot of big tournaments coming up to look forward to.
Yeah, we actually have a golf tournament today, guys. Like, we got a golf tournament, like a real golf tournament, loaded field. The Wells Fargo Championship, elevated event. Snyder, I mean, you got to be happy. Actual field, stud golfers to break down. How we doing today, man? How you feeling about the Wells Fargo this week?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. We finally get a decent field here after a couple of week events. We're going to have a nice field this week. And then I think we might even see Scheffler and Rahm possibly play next week before the PGA Championship here in a couple of weeks. So we got some great events here. I love Quail Hollow. It's one of my favorite courses on tour that they play. So excited to dive into this with you guys and see what's going on with you guys.
Yeah, I got a few shout-outs to make first. So, Steve Boyden, you had a phenomenal hit the other night. Congratulations to you in the MLB streets. And then our boy Bobby Fire is what I call him, Bobby Hare. Just on an epic heater. I mean, the dude, again, shipped last night 55K. I think I'm losing track. But, man, we had a lot of members win as well. You love to see it. That's always the goal. The goal is to help all of you, help you win, help you get some cash in your pockets. And that's the goal tonight, help you dive into this PGA slate, find the winners. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go tier by tier like we always do. We're going to pick our fades. We're going to pick our guys that we're on. And hopefully you find some nuggets there. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Snyder, as always, I'm kicking it right back to you for the course breakdown.
Yeah, like I said, we're at Quail Hollow this week. This is a big boy track here. Par 71 is going to measure 7,538 yards. It's been one of the toughest tracks on tour to date. We have larger than average greens here, coming in right under 6,600 square feet on average. And these Bermuda grass greens will be rolling at around 12 on the centimeter. Golfers going to see some tree line fairways here, numerous dog legs as well. There's going to be 7 holes with water in play here. It's pretty much a ball striker's paradise here with a bump to distance, both off the tee and long iron play 200 plus. I'll be looking at. There's going to be 5 par 4s here that are going to play over 480 yards. The par 3s are going to be very tough here. They all play over par on average, and the golfers, they must take advantage of these par 5s here this week. They're pretty much all attackable here. I think this is where you need to get your birdies and possibly eagles made here this week. When I'm looking at course history here, make sure to highlight 2022 and 2017 as this event was not played at Quail that week. So make sure to take note on that.
Snyder, real quick, tell the people why in 2017, I believe it was, why wasn't it played here? What was going on?
That PGA Championship was going on.
Who won that PGA Championship that year?
I think it might have been
Justin Thomas?
It's a trap.
One time? It's a trap. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that soon. Snyder, any last course history or course form thoughts?
That's pretty much it for me. Some key stats we'll be looking at this week as well is strokes gained off the tee, approach, distance, both off the tee and with the irons, par 5 scoring, and then some around the green and scrambling mixed in.
Yeah, very good. The stats I look at, really tee to green and regulations gain, driving distance, approach, ball striking. It correlates really well. Like if you look at, go look at all the stats of like the top 10 finishers, and you see a strong correlation between those stats. I love weeks like that because it fits my model really well. So glad to see that we are on point there, Snyder. Let's get into it. Let's start with this top tier, 10K and up. Only a handful of golfers there. Finau up to Rory. Locks, I'm going to start with you. What are you doing with this 10K and up range?
Yeah, I mean, and just another phenomenal course breakdown, obviously, per usual. Great job, Snyder. It's always tough to follow that up, but we'll get into the 10K and up range here. I think an easy play is Rory McIlroy. I mean, he's going to be chalk, but course history here, I think the little time off is going to do him well. Actually, I really do. So I'm going to be on Rory up here. I'm probably going to be on Rory and Xander is what I'm kind of leaning right now, and I'm going to be off of Cantlay and Finau. Just course history for those bottom two hasn't really shown me much. Yeah, they're playing great. Tony Finau just won, don't get me wrong. But I'll just be lower on those two guys and higher on the other two. So for me, it's playing McIlroy and Schauffele. It's fading Cantlay and Finau.
Yeah, the crazy thing about Finau is he actually like checks a lot of boxes, like the stats that I'm looking at. He checks them. He looks good. But for some reason, like his history here is not good at all. And that is something that I am waiting this week. We've seen guys who have good history here, typically 10. It seems like they tend to play well. So that's like I'm with you, Locks. Like that's kind of my bump down to Finau. But Snyder, let's kick it over to you. What are you doing with the champ Finau? Won last week, and then what a guy! What like an awesome guy. He wins the Mexico Open, and then literally 3-4 hours later, he's caddying for like a par 3 event for one of his kids. I mean, absolute hero, stand-up guy, Tony Finau. What are you doing with this 10K and up range?
Yeah, you love to see that kind of stuff, but I think I'm going to be off of him as well, off that win over 10K. I think there's some guys I'd rather play in the 9K range. I think it's going to be only one guy for me in this top tier range. I think Xander's playing some elite golf right now, but when you look at what Xander does, like his game type and everything, he doesn't have the greatest course history here. And then when you dive in deeper, like his long iron play is generally what holds him back. I'm looking at his last 100 rounds, 200 to 225, he ranks 102nd. 225 to 250, he ranks 51st. And then beyond that, even more, he ranks 71st. So I think Xander is a guy I'm going to be off this week. I'm going to be off Cantlay as well. I'm going to be off Finau. I'm just going to load up on Rory up here up top. I think the break is going to do him well there. I mean, he had a pretty bad showing at the Masters, which is just hard to understand how he can play so bad there at times. But I mean, it is what it is. He comes to the perfect landing spot, though. This course is made for him. I think he's won this event or won an event on this track 3 times. So definitely love Rory up top. I think he's going to bounce back huge this week.
I'm with you, and I'm taking like a John Rahm approach that we had, last week, which is just like lock him in. The price tag is steep; it's up there, 11-1 for Rory. But when you look at the other options, Cantlay, I guess my one. Sorry, if you lock Rory, what's it going to do? I think it automatically forces you to fade everyone else in this range. Obviously, there's just not enough salary to make it work. Some tough fades. Like when I look at Cantlay, I'm surprised that he hasn't done better. Oh, he's only played here, once in 2021. But he looks like the type of guy that's built for this course. Solid tee to green, plenty of distance off the tee. He's a green and regulations type of player. For 600 more, I think I'd rather have more shares of Rory, who just nukes here. He absolutely crushes. The history's phenomenal. I think I'm with you, Snyder. I think he comes back very motivated after the missed cut at the Masters. And this is his place to like get the mojo back, get it going. Won here in 21. Has a ton of top 10s. It's Rory up top for me. And like if I had to play someone between like a Xander or Cantlay, it would probably be Cantlay. And then Finau is my fade. But honestly, if I lock in Rory, I got to fade everyone else in this tier. I think that's what I'm leaning on doing. The other thing, too, is DraftKings has some awesome contests. Anytime they do this, I'm either like multi-entering, like playing 150, like in the $5, and then I'll do like 50 in the like 15 or whatever they have. This week, they got the, I think it's like the 254 max. They got like 3 $200 single entries. And I love those contests. So for me, it's going to be like an 8 to 10 build week, just jamming in all of those contests. I think I'm just going to lock Rory into every single one of my builds, make sure I'm that overweight on him. And I feel pretty good about that strategy. So that's where I'm at in the upper tier range. Locks, you're going to have to wait a little bit because we're now in the 9K range. I got to go back to Snyder. Reason we're calling Morikawa in this range. Snyder, what are you doing with the 9K range?
Yeah, it's interesting. I like a few guys in this range. More so, would rather play a few guys than like Cantlay, Finau, Xander in that 10K range. So I'm going to be looking at a guy. I'm going to be looking at my guy Morikawa here this week. He hasn't played here yet, but I think the game pretty much sets up great for him at this course. He isn't really long off the tee, but that's fine because he's going to hit every fairway. I mean, he's top 20 in proximity, 200 to 225. Ranks third in driving, actually top 20 in par 3 scoring as well, which I think par 3 scoring, if you can find the guys that generally played those good, I think that's going to be quite something that I'm looking at this week as well. He's also top 10 in par 5 scoring as well. I mean, when you look at a course comp, I think it's Riv is the main course I'm looking at this week, and he's finished sixth and second the last 2 years at Riv. He was third at Torrey as well, which is another longer course I think you can compare to this. So I think his game sets up really good for this. I don't think he's going to come in that highly owned either. I'm seeing him, probably right around 15% maybe. So I'm fine with that. The next guy that I usually don't play a lot is Jordan Spieth. I mean, he's just playing so elite right now. He comes in with some great form. He was one of the best players out on this course last year in the President's Cup as well. I think he won every single match he played on this course last year. Him and JT were paired up a lot together, but Spieth was the one that won the singles and carried him in the match play and such like that. So I like Spieth some. And then another guy I don't usually play that much of outside of the California swing, but Max Homa. I really like him this week. I think he's going to come in around 15% as well. He is coming off a couple of missed cuts, but one of those was a team event. I think he looks to be around 10%, like I say. So I think maybe even down to 10%. I'm seeing 10 to 15%. Looking at a few different sites and stuff, so I think he could be right around that. So he's got very strong course comps here. I talked about Riv. I mean, he's won there. I think he did win. He won here too, I believe. Back in 2019 he won this event. So great course comps with comp courses and here. So I'm going to be on some Homa, some Spieth, and then Morikawa in this range. I'm kind of going to open it up to those three, and then Rory. That's where I'm going to be anchoring my teams with those four guys up top this week.
You know, I might have to backtrack a little bit. I think like locking Rory in might be a mistake. I think if you want to get overweight on him with kind of the strategy that I'm deploying this week, it might just be like a 65, 60, 70% week Rory, because you bring up good points. And I do a power rankings article now on Mondays. I don't know if you saw it, Snyder, but Colin Morikawa is my second ranked guy. He really checks the boxes at this course. I think this course sets up really well for like his style of play. And we've seen like average to poor putters do well here from time to time. So I like I'm with you on Colin Morikawa. Locks 9K range, just loaded, and that's why I'm kind of getting off that lock Rory, because if I did the math, like if you play Rory and then you play Morikawa, you're left with 7,200 left per position. Kind of it's going to be real tight to make that work. So what are you doing with this 9K range this week?
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's going to be tough if you want to play Rory to fit these guys in, which is why, I mean, really for me, this range is pretty easy. It's 2 to 3 guys. I'll X the other ones out. For me, it's probably Spieth, Day, Morikawa in that order. I'd say those three are my favorite that I'm going to play here. I'm probably going to X everybody else out. Hovland's ownership, I'm seeing way up there. I'm not chasing that. I'm not feeling good about that, but I love Spieth this week. I think he's a great play. Definitely has a chance to win here. Jay Day, he has won this event before. We've seen him back into form. The guy looks great this year. So I love me a little Jay Day this week. And then I'm with you guys on Morikawa as well. I think he's a great play here. You don't need as good a putting here. So if he can just, keep hitting the ball like he always does, he's an incredible ball striker. I think he has a chance here as well. So it's those three guys for me. Everybody else, I'm not going to have much interest in, because a lot of times I'm going to find myself skipping this range.
Yeah. So for me in the 9K range, Colin Morikawa, obviously, I mentioned I got him ranked second, my power rankings. But when you factor in price and different things, roster construction, strategies, Victor Hovland, 9,200, is my second favorite guy in this range. Actually, price, taking price into account, might be my favorite. Like, he was awesome here in 21 T3. He's playing great golf, especially in these events, these elevated events, the T7 at the Masters, T3 at the Players, T10 at the API. I mean, this guy is showing up in these big events. I think he shows up this week, checks a ton of boxes. Victor Hovland, I think my favorite play, followed closely by Colin Morikawa. I think I'm off Mahoma. I'm off Fitzpatrick is kind of where I'm at, and then I'm off Sung J M. I do want guys that can hit the ball along the way, and I think that's what holds Sung J M back this week, and that's why I'm lower on him. And then, Jason Day, he's just, another guy who, obviously won here in 2018. The putter's on fire. If he his tee to green game is also really good. If he brings in that hot putter, he should be there on Sunday. And so if you fade Rory, I think you try to fit two guys in this range. Hovland, Day, Morikawa, Day, something like that, I feel like is probably the right path in this 9K range. Locks, I'm going to keep it with you. What are you doing in the 8K range? And Justin Thomas won the PGA here. He's been very hurtful. I mean, this is my guy, and I'm like ready to jump ship because this guy's been an absolute disaster. And I think we could get Ricky right below him, a little bit lower owned. And then for some reason, they got Cam Young, who is an absolute stud. You and Snyder have been on point on him all season long, it seems like. When he got the new caddy, you guys were jamming him in that the match play event, and we're very high on him. And then obviously at the Masters as well. Cam Young at 8,700. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what is this price tag? What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, I mean, his price tag to me is just insane. In all honesty, looking at this right now, I'm wondering, what if you just fade 9K and up and start your lineup with JT, Ricky Fowler, and Cam Young and ride it from there? I mean, that's an interesting build that probably nobody's going to do. You're going to get off of all that ownership up top. But I'd say those are probably my three favorite guys in this range right off the bat there. I think JT is a phenomenal play. He likes his course. He's hitting the ball great. I'm not going to jump ship. I mean, he's a pro. He's going to figure out his putting stroke at some point. He's going to catch it at some point. And like you said, you don't have to be the best putter to win here. So I think he contends here. He's super cheap. I think Fowler plays well here as well. He's got decent course history here. He's playing well again. And then Cam Young's just a stud. So it's those three guys for me in this range. I don't really have a ton of interest in anyone else. I'm probably going to pretty much X everybody else out of here, other than possibly Brian Harmon at the Stoneman 8K. Just decent course history here, and recently kind of found his form his last time out. So we'll see. I might sprinkle in a little Brian Harmon at the bottom there, but other than that, it's just the top three guys in this range.
So Alex, brings up a point here. He's made double bogeys. I think what he's looking at is the RBC. And look, I'm throwing the RBC out. It was the week right after the Masters. Cam Young was up there. He was up there at the Masters. I can forgive him for a bad performance at the RBC after such an incredible run at the Masters. So that's something I can overlook. I think this course sets up really well for him. He's too cheap. He makes for a really good play. He's tough. He's a scary fade because he's a guy that can absolutely destroy you because he can score and he can go low and he can bomb it off the tee, which I'm telling you at a course like this he's going to have, if he's finding these fairways and hitting it as far as he does, he's going to be right there with Rory. So, and I would not be surprised. So like when I go back to like what I'm doing with Rory, there's going to be a lot of builds that I have that start Rory, Cam Young. And that was like my first optimal run. It was Rory, Cam Young, and that looked really good. And I know you get like it was Rory JT at first. I'm like, no. I need a a little bit more salary, and I went to Cam Young. Snyder, 8K range, a lot of really good options down here. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, the way I'm building, I really only have room for like one of these guys, I think, to get overweight on the guy I want, and it's going to be Cameron Young here. He kind of let me down at Heritage, but like you say, it was coming off that Masters there. I think he'll be generally pretty popular here. I think him and JT are both going to come in right around 20%, and I'd rather play Cameron Young. I mean, the way to attack JT, I think, is pretty simple to me. I mean, if you've been playing him, keep playing him. If you haven't been playing him, don't play him. I haven't been playing him at all, so I'm going to go to the Cam Young side there. So I think that's just the way you should approach that if you want to.
I mean, Snyder, what if you've been playing him and now you're broke and, you just kidding.
Yeah.
That's going to be me if I keep playing him.
I definitely love Cameron Young at this track. I think this track just sets up perfectly for his game. He can bomb it off the tee. And the addition of Tesori's really helped him out with the short game, it seems, since he jumped on the bag. That putting stroke has gotten much, much better. The around the green game is fine. And Tesori's been around this track quite a few times with Webb Simpson over the years. So I think that's going to be another huge leaning point for him to kind of lean on him at times here. So I really like Cameron Young here. He hasn't played this course yet. He got second at this event last year, but like I said, that was not at this course. So I just think he's a great underpriced guy here. I mean, Ricky Fowler, yeah, I mean, I was playing him when he was in the mid to low 7Ks. I think the 8.8 price tag is just a little too much for him, and I kind of worry about his long iron play. So I'm going to be off of Fowler. I think he's a fine tournament play. I don't think he'll break 15%. He'll probably be 10 to 15%, but I just can't go there personally. I was playing him some when he was cheaper. If he was 7,500, I mean, he'd be a super chalk, but so I guess the price tag is probably good for tournaments and such, but it's going to be Cameron Young for me at the top. I just don't see myself getting to any of these other guys. Not going to play Tom Kim. I think he's a guy that could see some ownership. Terrell Hatton was playing good there for a while, kind of cooled off. Don't see myself getting back to him either. So I think it's just going to be those five guys for me up top in the 8K plus: Cam Young, Max Homa, Jordan Spieth, Morikawa, and then Rory. And then I'm going to look into this 7K range to fill out my teams and such.
Yeah, very good. As I said, I think Cam Young, when you factor in price, probably the best play on the board. Maybe it's not close. I think he should be a 9K, mid 9K guy up there with between Homa, Fitzpatrick, Hovland, like in that range. 8,700 again is a discount. The guy can bomb it. He can shape shots. He ranks 16 tee to green, 7th ball striking right now. The putter, the trend line that I look at putting over the last 24 rounds, it was bad, and now it's going back up. That's what we want to see. It means the putter is starting to get dialed. Maybe the new caddy is what is really helping him out there. So, and again, I'm crossing out the RBC. I'm not hitting him, penalizing him for that bad performance there at all. I'm overlooking that. Rick Fowler, he's got a lot of history here. T4 in 2019 and 16. Let's not forget the PGA Championship. I believe he also booked the top 10 there. So this is a track that, despite Rick not being like the longest guy off the tee, he's played very well here. His game is dialed. He ranks 17th tee to green, 5th on approach. The irons are looking really good. I expect them to find a lot of fairways, find a lot of greens. I think Ricky Fowler, again, a really good play. And so, my biggest question is, where do I rank these two guys with JT? Because honestly, Sam Burns, I think in my MME pool, I'm going to have him in there. I just think, again, he's talented. Everyone always overlooks him. I think he's been playing really good golf. 6th at the Valspar. He was awesome at the Masters up until, I believe, the final round. And then RBC looked good too. I think I'm going to make a lot of cuts at the bottom of this range. So, for me, the big decision is, what do I do with JT, Rick, and Cam Young? I currently have it ranked Cam Young, Rick, and JT. I'm not fading my boy here, but I'm not like locking him in or anything like that. So I like how this course sets up for him, but man, he's been so hurtful, and it's just like, gosh. So I'm going to be probably in line with the field on him, to be honest. I have more interest in Cam Young and Ricky Fowler slightly over JT. And then my fades in this range. I'm just, Tom Kim, he's going to get it going, but it's going to be, I think, on easier tracks where it's a weaker field. So I'm going to be off of him. I'm going to be off of Tommy Fleetwood, I believe, as well. So I like I'm committed to the upper range here. It's Cam Young, Rick Fowler, and JT for me in the 8K range. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. It helps us out a lot here over at Rumpier Sports. We got the premium show going tomorrow. All of our content, premium content, our core plays. I got my heat map. Snyder has his playbook. Locks his core. All will be live tomorrow. Any weather type of stuff we're always discussing in Discord. Make sure you're in Discord tomorrow. Snyder, I'm going to go right back to you. 7K range. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, there's a few guys that will be playing in this range for sure. There's actually one guy that gains more strokes ball striking than Rory at this track, and it's Killer Keith Mitchell. I think he sets up very good for this track. I'm going to be on him heavily this week as well. Comes off the solid performance there at the team event with him. He finished 5th at Riviera this year as well, which I continue to think is the best course comp that I'll be looking at this week. So I really like how Keith's game translates here as well. Bermuda is his preferred surface, so definitely going to be overweight on Keith Mitchell. I think he might get spiced up a little bit, maybe around. I have a hard time seeing him get really over 15%, but I think he'll be 10 to 15%, which is fine. And then our guy, Mr. Ham, Wyndham Clark, I'm going to go right back to him this week. I mean, he's a guy who really had to battle there on Friday to make the cut for us. I mean, he had a horrible round one. I mean, he had the chance to just completely punt that off and head to Quail early, but he rallied the troops. He battled hard for us Friday, and then he continued to battle throughout the weekend, and he even finished inside the top 25 when everybody had him written off for dead after that first round. So love to see him battle for that top 25, gain nearly 6 strokes ball striking at Riv earlier, and it looks like he'll be, I think, around 10% this week. So I like some Mr. Ham. Taylor Moore's another guy. He's my former Corn Ferry Tour flag plant player from a couple years ago. It looks like he's kind of peaking, though, as well. Just coming off that win at the Valspar not too long ago, finished 11th at the Heritage, and then finished top 5 at the Zurich. Real solid long iron player as well. The putter can get hot for him, and I think he's going to be 6 to 9% owned this week, so somewhere around there. So I think he's a good play for tournament.
#nice.
Yeah, and then there's one more guy. I know AP's going to mention him, and I very, very rarely ever play this guy unless he gets into one of those streaks.
Oh, is that a dig? I mean, I never play this guy, but I know AP's going to mention him. I mean, I feel slighted over here.
No, you usually play him. You usually play him in these hot streaks.
Is this a dust ball or what?
No,
what are we talking about?
We generally both play him when he gets hot, and I think you maybe play him a little more than me. But this is one of those spots. I think you've been on him the last couple of weeks too when he's been on this hot streak. So it's Emiliano Grillo here. He comes off of 5th place at the Mexico last week. He was 7th at the Heritage. The irons have been.
I can't remember the last time I played Grillo. Are you thinking
the last couple weeks?
I mean, maybe Chat can correct me, but I don't think I have been.
All right, on.
He's been playing good golf though.
Yeah, for sure. And when he usually gets that putter heat, and it's usually 6 to 7 events, typically like we saw last year down the stretch. I thought you were on him down the stretch last year when he had a pretty good run to close out the 2022 season there. I think he'll be under 10% owned as well. I don't see him getting steamed up too much. He does have the good recent form. I think his game will translate well here. There is one more 7K guy, but I'm going to leave him for the Soldier segment I'll have on Twitter here tomorrow. So make sure to head on over to Snyder210 on Twitter and check out my Soldiers segment, as I'll have one more 7K guy that I comment on that for tomorrow.
Is this guy that you're talking about? Is it a shot that we like chilled? You chill it, little Jaeger bomb or something like that.
No, I don't think
maybe.
so.
No? Oh, okay. All right. That would have been my guess.
I was gonna leave him for you guys. I know Locks or one of you guys mentions him quite often.
Yeah, Jaeger's been a hero for us. Yeah, he's been really good. Locks, big 7K range. A lot of options. We're gonna need, I think, a couple. Most likely, if you're going the Rory path, like when I ran some of those Rory builds, you're going to land, I think, one or two guys down in this range, depending on what you do with the 6K range. But what are you doing in the 7K range?
Yeah, I'll start out with the boy you just mentioned, Jaeger Bomb. I think he's a good play this week. But looking at this range, I do see myself landing here a lot because if you're going to be up top in the 9-10Ks and in that, you're going to have to end here a decent amount, even at this lower end. So if you're watching, I'm probably just going to list a bunch of players that I'm going to play in this range. I'll just be listing the ones basically that'll be in my pool. So as I'm going down here, I mean, Kuchar's interesting to me. The guy's just been playing solid golf, and he doesn't really get into much trouble. I just think he has a good chance here. I see him sub probably 6% ownership, so I like taking a stab at him. Our boy Wyndham Clark, just like Snyder talked about last week, just came through in the clutch. I think he birdied the last hole to make the cut even, which was huge for us. I think he plays well again here. He just had a rough round one. He still finished 24th, third the event before that. So I do like me a little Wyndham Clark. And then as I'm getting down the list here, Taylor Moore is a name that's jumping out at me. This kid has just been playing great golf lately. I think he's a great play at $7,600 as well. He'll be under 10% from what I'm seeing. I don't mind me a little Chris Kirk, a little bit of Kirky action. I always like me a little Kirky. I don't see him very high owned. And at $7,500, he's a guy I can get on board with as well. Another guy that's good off the tee, Patrick Rogers. I got a little bit of interest in him at about 5%. I'll be off of Griot. I'm not with Snyder on Griot here. The guy, he's so bad with the putter, and I get it. You can hit the ball great, which he does. I can't play a guy like that here. I'll be off of him. Pretty much off of the rest of this range down here. And as I'm getting down towards the bottom, I like Benny On a little bit. I do have a little bit slight interest in him. And then Akshay Bhatia, however the hell we want to say it, we always fight over.
Remember when we had that debate?
So
someone said I was like way off. I thought I was so confident. I thought I was right, and I was nowhere near close to being right.
And I'm still
Akshay,
not sure.
I know it's Akshay.
Sure which one it is. So I'm going to say Bhatia. I'm going to say Bhatia. We're just going to go with Akshay. I'll be sprinkling in a little bit of him. Not much interest in anyone else down in this range. For me, it's just those names. I'm going to cross most of the other guys off. But, I mean, to me, that's probably 8 to 10 guys I'm on down here.
What if I told you Grillo was averaging just over 2 strokes gain with the putter in his last 4 tracked events?
That's a fluke.
It's like Weaver last night. Like our projection on Weaver was like, I'm like, this is recency bias, like to the max. Like there's no way Weaver is getting it done tonight. And
if he's been putting that good, and I don't know, it ain't going to continue. Let's just say that.
What is crazy? What if I told you Wyndham Clark, and if you're familiar with our boy Windham, putting historically not like his best skill set. He's gained strokes putting, positive strokes putting, 6 events in a row. Really incredible. And I got to start with Windham. Obviously, didn't have the finish that we wanted last week, but something's clicking with this guy. I think he's going to get a win soon. When you just look at, like, pull up any, like Fantasy National is actually good for it. When you pull up his, like, player profile, just go and look at kind of historically, like scroll down. You've never seen, or at least I haven't seen, the consistency that we're seeing now on a tee to green basis. The guy's always been a monster off the tee. He has plenty of distance. He's finding it now with his irons, and he's getting it done on a green and regulations basis. The ball striking is there. The putting is there. He needs to now put it all together, and he's going to be in contention. 5th place, 6th place, 29th, 24th. This guy, again, kind of like Cam Young, obviously a little bit different, but I feel like we're getting a slight discount on his price because of who he is, the name there. Because I have him kind of priced where he should be, maybe in that Tom Kim range, 84, 8,300, right up there. So I think we're getting a little bit of value on Wyndham Clark. Keegan Bradley's the next guy I got to talk about. Now, again, I have Keegan as he's my outright for the PGA Championship. I've kind of made that known. Now that Willie Z is out of it, I think it's still 65-1 if you want to go and put a bet in for the PGA Championship. Keegan Bradley, again, I love how he's playing right now. The tee to green game is there. The putting is actually improving, which is what you want with Keegan. I see some value in his price tag at $7,700. Gary Woodland, I know it's gross. It's really gross. But again, I like him here. A guy that's solid off the tee, ranked 16th at driving distance. He's a green and regulations monster. When you look at green and regulations gained, he ranks third in the entire field here. So he is way, way, way up there. What you need him to do is get it done with the flat stick. That's his biggest struggle right now. He's also terrible around the greens. So if he can, if he can avoid bunkers and avoid that around the green stuff, if he can do it with his irons and get off the tee and give himself chances, I love his price tag at 6,700. I think he's a pretty good play in this 7K range. The Griot call, Snyder, I might have to have him in my pool. T5, T7. Again, he's a ball striker. He's got history here. T14 and 21, T9 and 18. Where's my boy, Alex Hans? There we go. AP loves course history. Yes, I freaking do. I love course history. I'm liking what I see with Griot this week. Jaegerbomb, Steven Jaeger, I like that call. I'm going to be on him. We had another awesome comment in chat, something about Webb and how he lives on one of the holes. I don't give a shit where he lives. If he does live on this course, then good. It'll be easy for him. He'll be on his couch over the weekend, watching, having front row view to the fireworks going on the weekend. There's no way, absolutely no way, I'm playing Webb freaking Simpson this week. So again, when I look at some of these guys I like, because I don't love the lower 7K range. Like I think there's maybe a couple guys down here, but when I think about it, those Rory builds, it might be like I might be looking at what does a Rory plus Windham plus Keegan look like, or maybe not Keegan, maybe it's Gary Woodland, where it's like a stud plus 2 or 3 guys in this range. I don't know, might look decent. What I do know though is I have a ton of interest in Keegan, Wyndham, and Gary Woodland up in this range, and then also Jaegerbomb, Steven Jaeger. I just love how he's been playing. Another guy too that I have a little bit of interest in is just Adam Scott. I don't know what you guys think, and if you looked at him, but when you think about Adam Scott, these longer courses, I just always have some interest with him because he's a good, tends to be a good ball striker. I think the distance helps him because he's a monster off the tee. 7,300 feels a little bit too cheap. Any of you guys have an interest in Adam Scott this week?
Not really for me.
Nah. 2 thumbs down?
Yeah, for me, not really. No, I don't think I'm on Scott this week.
What are you doing with Dalton or Damon? Joel Damon has 3 straight top 20s here at this event. Finished second in 2019.
His form has just been
those were in this field is going to be much better, and those this is probably going to be one of the stronger fields we've seen at this event. Probably. I don't know. I'll probably be off Joel Damon. I just haven't been playing him. If I've been playing him, then sure. But no, I'll probably be off of him. Let's keep this going. I'm going to go right back to you, Lux. 6K range. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, I'm looking down here trying to find some names that I like, and it's honestly not too pretty.
I got a name that you guys are going to laugh at. Everyone is going to make fun of me for it, and I can't wait.
I can't wait then either. I'm excited to hear it. But looking down here, to me, I don't know about you guys, but seeing Carson Young at 6,100 is kind of shocking just because how good he's looked. I mean, for a $6,100 guy, I can get on board with sprinkling a little bit of him if you want to go like a total stars and scrubs. I'm not saying I'm going to play him, but it's a guy that I could see if you guys want to jam some of those studs in. He's a guy down here that you can play. But as I'm going kind of from the bottom up here, I don't really see a whole lot of names down here. Callum Tarrant, maybe if you want to throw a dart out there down at the bottom. But mainly I'm going to be looking kind of higher up here. Our boy Toasty, we talked about him pre-show last week. Snyder threw him in his core. I mean, just a great call by us there on Toasty. So he panned out for us there. He's only 6,500. We've seen his birdie upside. I mean, honestly, he looks pretty damn good in all facets of his game. Approach is even pretty good. Off the tee and approach is huge here, and I think he's got a chance to make some noise at a $6,500 price tag again. Another guy is Ben Taylor, who looked really good last week as well. Looked solid as could be, $6,600. He's down there by Smotherman, Cam Champ. Those are a few guys I have a slight interest in. I'm not going to chase Cam Champ. He hasn't looked good other than last week. So I'd say probably Smotherman, Ben Taylor for me. I always like my Van Ruyen. He always seems to let me down at some point, but I'll throw him in there as well. $6,700. These are just guys I think that got some upside to finish high for us that are down here at these crazy prices. And you're going to need these guys in order to get like Rory and JT and all those guys in your lineups. You're going to have to end down here. And these are some guys I like. The last two names I'll mention are Eric Cole and Will Gordon. Those two guys I have high interest in as well down here at 68 and 6,900. So that's probably the gist of it for me. Just kind of pick your poison down here and be smart about it. Look at recent play and course history like AP does as well.
Yeah, Eric Cole, like he's a good golfer. This is a big course for him, but the dude is obviously a stud. The ball striking's there. Looked good last week. 6K range. It's pretty thin down here, Snyder. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, it's kind of pretty bleak down here. I do like Michael Kim quite a bit down here, though. He's made 6 straight cuts for him heading in. The putter's been great for him as well as the irons. His struggles have come off the tee and some around the green, but it's been hit or miss around the green. I think he's got great upside here for 6.6K. I really like how he's been playing too. 4 of his last 6 events have been inside the top 30 or better, so I think he's got some good upside down here. I like some Mark Hubbard. He gained 7 strokes approach last week. The putter looks to be kind of heating up some as well. One guy I don't think I'm going to play. I don't know if he's going to get any steam or not, but when you look at his recent form, I think he could get some ownership down here, and that's Jimmy Walker. He's finished 25th or better in 3 of his last 4 events.
You stole my guy. Remember me? Remember I got made fun of him last week? I got made fun. Everyone laughed. What'd he do? T15. Let's go, Jimmy Walker. He's not done yet. He's got more left in the tank.
I think he's pretty much done here. He's going to come.
I don't know. I got to hand that to AP. That was a good call. Good call.
Yeah, he's been playing good golf.
He has been.
Can't discriminate against our elders. I mean, how old is Jimmy Walker? He's got to be getting
the Mexican Open, and now he's coming to Quail Hollow, a much, much longer course. I think I'm going to be off him. I mean, he could pop again, but I think I
thought you liked him. Snyder. No, we're going in the wrong direction.
I'm not going to play him. I mean, he's been doing everything solely with the short game, and I think this longer course is going to eat him up here a little bit. So I'm going to be off him. Hopefully, if you play him, he plays well. But I'm not gonna go there. I thought you were gonna go back to your guy Cameron Champ, who comes on.
I am. You know I am.
I thought that was the guy you were kind of hinting at. All
right, so hear me out on Cameron Champ. Pull up his player profile. It's always like a 3-event stretch. This guy shows up for like 2 to 3 events, and then he falls off the cliff again. What did he do last week? He looked good. Obviously, it was an easier course, weak-ass field, where we wanted guys who could bomb it, which that's all he can do. Again, what I'm seeing when I pull up his player profile, it's, so like the Masters in 2022, 10th, Mexico Open, 6th, AT&T. Then he made the cut there at the AT&T Byron Nelson. What did he do after that? Missed a shit ton of cuts. Let's go back to the John Deere. He finished 11th. What do he do the next week? Follows it up with a win at the 3M. let's go back. Let's go back to it. We got the Zozo. What's he do with the Zozo in 2020? Finishes 8th place. What does he do the next week at the Masters? This was actually a weird time because it was when the Masters was played in November. A T20 there. It's this trend that we see with him, and screw it, man. I'm bouncing on. I'm not like going like crazy with him, but like when I look at this, there's a few lineups, a few builds that like I want to play here where you get these bombers, where I can get Rory, I can throw Champ in there, and then I could get another dude then Cam Young. Like I can go Cam Young, Cam Champ, and Rory, who is the champ here. I got all the distance in the world with those guys, and I got salary left over too. So that's the only thing that I find intriguing about Cam Champ. Again, it's a disgusting play. He can miss the cut. I would not be surprised if he missed the cut this week. But what I see with him is the short-term trend where he's good for 3 events, and then he falls off a cliff again. I hope it's true this week because I'm going to play him a little bit down here because it's a thin range. It's a really, really thin range down here. There's not a lot of options that I like at all down in the 6K range. So Cam Champ, I have a little bit of interest in. Eric Van Rooyen, I'm going back to your boy locks. He looked good to start out last week, and then he kind of just, foul out of it.
Yeah,
so,
on him too, AP, is normally in the 4th round, he nukes, and he had a bad 4th round.
Yeah, it's just tough. The Jimmy Walker thing, it's a tough play, but hear me out. Something I don't know what he did, but like he's really improved with his driving distance. So if you're fading him just because you think he's not a long hitter, that is not the case right now. The guy is
T20 now.
Snyder. I mean, he ran all right. So in this field, I always look at the last 24 rounds. He ranks just inside the top 20 in driving distance. Think about all the guys that bomb it at this that are in this field. He's hanging with the young guys. So I don't know what he did, but he is obviously carrying it off the tee. So and he's finding fairways too. So there are parts of his games that I have concerns about, obviously, but he's 6,500. I think he's a little bit interesting. I'm not going like crazy on him. I think I would probably have 1 or 2 shares. That's all I need for my strategy this week. Snyder just over there embarrassing me, making me making me feel bad about playing Jimmy Walker at 6,500. But you know what? Screw it, man. I'm gonna ride it. Like I think people are gonna play Toasty at a much higher rate than Jimmy Walker down here. It's much higher. But again, none of these 6K guys are gonna get that high owned at all. So I'm never worried about like chalk down in this range. I just want a little piece of Jimmy Walker. Not a core play, nothing like that. A multi-entry, large field tournament play where you're trying to fit in a couple studs. That's where it works.
I am fully with you on that, AP.
The same. What about Cam Champ? No?
You talked me into it. I'll sprinkle him. He's got to be in my pool now. You talked me too much into it on that one.
If Jimmy Walker continues to gain 6 strokes short game, he's going to do well again.
That's true. I mean, maybe he'll do it. Yeah, you never know.
For a guy at 6,500, he's got 3 top 25s in his last 4 events.
Yeah. I'm in on Cam Champ. I like him. I think he was sick too earlier this year as well, which is something you got to play into it. And I think the ball strike definitely came around last week. So
you know who tilts me? Frickin' Lanto frickin' Griffin. Now, what day was it where he shot like 7 over, 8, like 7 or 8 over? I was the bubble boy in the 555 showdown that day. I had like literally if all he does is get me 30, I'm like getting like 2nd or 3rd place in that event. So he went like 7 or 8 over. It was just an absolutely horrendous performance by Lanto Griffin. And no, I'm not playing Lanto this week. He can go and yeah, I'm not going to say it.
There is one guy down in the 6K range that I think could potentially push 7 to 10% ownership down here, and it's going to be Will Gordon. I think a lot of cash guys were on him last week.
I like Will Gordon.
Will Gordon.
What about another one where if you're just looking at like guys who are good at green and regulations and have driving distance, I don't know a lot about this guy's game. I need to actually dive in, but Brent Grant nukes it, man. He ranks 4th in driving distance. Younger guy, I believe. Then his green and regulations gained stat that I'm looking at looks pretty good too. But he's just a guy that's just going to, absolutely pound it, and hopefully every other part of his game, pans out. But again, very, very risky play. I don't love the 6K range. I think it's a very difficult one. But there are a few pieces
second
that I like.
in my model and driving distance. I just sorted by distance.
Who's that?
Mr. Toasty.
Toasty? I might have to play a little Toasty then.
You
he was a
have to.
hero last week. Yeah, I'm back on Toasty. Definitely on Toasty.
I mean, I won't bring it up, but I still feel hurt by Snyder.
Should we all visualize? Do you like what he's doing with the little visualization stuff? Do you guys see that? Like,
yeah,
wasn't he the guy with the cards? Like was that him? That was him, right? Locks knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, I digress. All right, let's keep this going. Let's get to our winners, our final thoughts, then we'll get out of here so we can all enjoy the playoff game that is coming up here shortly. Warriors, Lakers. I'm going to get your guys' take on that game before we get out, just because I'm so excited for it. But let's get to our winners. Snyder, let's start with you. Let's go back to our 2 winners format. Who do we think wins? And then a longer shot, the one that we would have interest in betting on.
Yeah, I've got an odds checker pulled up right now, and the best number I'm seeing on this guy is 20-1. You can find it at a few different places. You bet MGM, FanDuel. Cameron Young, 20-1. I really like him in this spot here. I think his game's going to translate very well here. I think he's a great bet and a great DFS play. So Cameron Young is my guy at 20-1. And then I'm going to Killer Keith Mitchell here. 75-1 is the best number I could find on Keith Mitchell this week. 75-1 over on Caesars, 70 on FanDuel, and he's all the way down to 65 on DraftKings. So make sure to price shop and find the best line. But Young 20-1 and Mitchell 75-1.
Yeah, very good. Locks, who do you got winning this week? Oh no!
Mute rookie. Hey, I caught it quick. Okay,
it was good. You're good, Locks.
All right, so I don't have odds in front of me, but for me, I think it's going to be JT. I think Justin Thomas is taking this baby down. A lot of people are going to go Rory for a good reason, but I think JT is going to take it here. The ball striking is just too good. He's too good to not find his putter at some point. I think he finds it here. He's going to take it home for us.
You can get 24-1 on FanDuel.
Okay, and then
on
a
JT?
long shot.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I might have to bet that actually.
JT.
I think you have to. Like, those are good odds for JT, even though he's been bad.
That's solid. And then my long shot to win here, I'm going to go down the board a bit. I'm going to go with our boy Wyndham Clark.
He stole mine. I love it, though.
He's been playing really good golf lately. And what are his odds?
75-1. FanDuel.
Yeah,
60 on DraftKings now. It just tells me he's a phenomenal DK play.
Yeah, I love Wyndham Clark here. I think he pulls through for us again. So he's my long shot to take it down.
Yeah, very good. So just looking at this, here's what's crazy. So when you pull up and I'm looking at DK, Snyder, you can tell me if it's a lot different on FanDuel, but I was going to Victor Hovland. I was between Colin Morikawa or Victor Hovland. So Hovland 9,200, Morikawa 9,800 DK pricing. When you look at the odds though over on DraftKings, Morikawa 22-1, Hovland 18-1. So I'm going to stick with Hovland because I love how he's playing in these big events, majors, elevated events. I love where his game's at right now. I love the course fit here. And now when you factor in these odds and you look at his price, Hovland is a great play. And honestly, like I'm looking at this now, and if you're trying to build just an optimal lineup, if you go I might be like 50% Rory now just because I'm looking at these builds. I could start with Hovland. I could fit in like a Ricky Fowler. I could fit in Cam Young. You can make a really spicy build down in this range. And if a guy like Hovland wins 18-1, you're going to be mint, absolutely mint. So I love it. I love Victor Hovland, slight edge over Colin Morikawa there. And then my longer shot, let me move off of Wyndham Clark since my boy Locks stole that from me.
Sorry, buddy.
Let's go. I hope it doesn't happen this week, but let's go Keegan Bradley because I hope he saves the win for the PGA Championship. But I just like how Keegan's playing right now. If he brings the putter, I think he'll be there. I like how this course sets up for him. So I got Keegan Bradley. What was that?
You can get 80-1 on Keegan over at Caesars.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Really nice. All right, fellas. Snyder, final thoughts this week.
Yeah, looking forward to this event. Finally, we've got a big off-field event here. I'll have the playbook and cash chart. First look up tonight. It'll be updated some tomorrow as well. We'll have the cores up as well. Showdown will be in full effect this week again. Rounds 1 through round 4 over at runpuresports.com. Use that promo code Snyder15 for 15% off. And, we're going to have the Showdown shows as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to watching the King take out Mr. Curry tonight.
Let's go. You on Lakers then too?
Yep.
Love it. Things you absolutely love to see. And yes, the showdowns are going to be excellent this week. Very, very excited for those shows and the content there. Locks, final thoughts this week at the Wells Fargo Championship.
Yeah, not much. I don't see any weather issues, at least as of right now. Obviously, if things change, we'll update you guys. Just excited to see a good tournament. I don't think we're going to have a 2 or 3 horse race here. I think this is going to be an exciting tournament to watch with a lot of fun following tournaments coming up. So just excited to watch great golf, great players play. And yeah, I'm with you guys. I think the Lakers are winning tonight too. At game 7 in the trenches, I think they come out a little slow and the Lakers take them down tonight.
I mean, it's crazy right now. Like no Jimmy Butler for the Heat. And they're just taking it to the Knicks right now, which is, I mean, it's just crazy. Eric Spoelstra, man, this dude is such a good coach. It's just absolutely crazy what he's doing with this team that no one thought could get it done. So things you absolutely love to see. My final thoughts this week are the contests are great. I think this event is great. I think the pricing is good. I love the guys that were on this week. I think we had a lot of similar thoughts for players that were on. It's going to be a fun week over here. All the premium content is going to be up again tomorrow. We got the premium show with Big T, our boy Drew Matthews, who's been on the show the past couple weeks, and JSU are going to be breaking that down tomorrow. Big T's going to have his notes up, player pool up. We'll have our core plays up. Drew Matthews is going to have his player sheet up as well. Snyder on the playbook. It's going to be a great time. I got Lakers tonight. I think. So these game ones, and again, it's kind of a moot point because you're talking about the Dubs, the world champions. Obviously, they know the importance of this first game. But if you're the Lakers, the dog in the series, and you're a veteran, like this first game is important. I think AD, LeBron come out, put on a show, and I think they steal game 1. I got them winning 4-2 in the series. It's going to be a fun series, though. Very, very excited for the game tonight. Awesome week at the Wells Fargo Championship as well. Very excited for the golf this week. So a lot of fun times over here. Make sure you sign up. Use code Snyder15, Locks15, runpuresports.com. Snyder. With that, I'm AP Snyder, Locks. Snyder, get us out of here.